Hello, my name is Christina Velasquez, and I will be talking about marijuana and the effects it has on the human body. So there has been much research done on how the cannabis plant, marijuana, has therapeutic benefits and could ease the suffering of a lot of people with various illnesses such as AIDS, cancer, glaucoma, seizures, and chronic pain and things of such. And so California becomes the first state to legalize medical cannabis with the approval of Proposition 215 in 1996. And so what this means is that doctors were able to prescribe to their patients cannabis, and this was the only way that it was legal for anybody to consume marijuana. There was a lot more research done and a lot of fighting and a lot of propositions that were made. And so finally in 2018, California legalized the use of recreational marijuana. Now what this means is that you no longer need a prescription to go get marijuana. So anybody that is over 18 can walk into a cannabis store and buy whatever products that they would like. There are many health effects that come from consuming marijuana. Now, one of them is if you smoke marijuana, it's definitely going to have some effects on the lungs. It said that marijuana smoke is very similar to tobacco smoke in the fact that it's an irritant to the throat, lungs, and can cause a heavy cough during use. Now, it also contains high levels of chemicals and tars that are similar to tobacco smoke, which has raised concerns about the risk of cancer and lung disease. However, the fact that many people use both marijuana and tobacco makes determining marijuana's precise contribution to the risk of lung cancer is very difficult to establish. Other effects that smoking marijuana does have on the lungs is that it can cause airway inflammation, increased airway resistance, lung hyperinflation, and those who smoke marijuana regularly do show symptoms of chronic bronchitis. It can also increase susceptibility to lung infections such as pneumonia. Substantial evidence from studies in humans indicate that marijuana exposure during development can cause long-term or possibly permanent adverse changes in the brain. Now, some studies suggest that regular marijuana use in adolescence is associated with altered connectivity and reduced volume of specific brain regions involved in a broad range of functions such as memory, learning, and impulse control. Now, these studies also suggest that marijuana use can cause functional impairment in cognitive abilities, but the degree and the duration of that impairment really depends on the age when a person began using and how much and how long they've used it. There's also other studies that have linked marijuana use to declines in IQ, especially when the use starts in adolescence and their persistent cannabis use into adulthood. However, all of this is difficult to prove that marijuana is the cause of a decline in IQ when there are multiple factors that can influence the results, such as genetics, family environment, age of the first use, duration of the use, and duration of the study. Another health effect that comes with consuming marijuana is addiction. Now, about 1 in 10 marijuana users will become addicted. For people who begin using before the age of 18, that number rises to 1 in 6. Now, some signs that some people might be addicted include unsuccessful efforts to quit using. They also give up important activities with friends and family to instead stay or go somewhere where they can use marijuana. Another sign is even though the person knows that there are negative consequences, such as fulfilling their jobs, school, or work, they still go out of their way and use marijuana. People who are addicted to marijuana may also be at higher risk of other negative consequences and have a higher percentage of using other drugs. Now, we've talked about some negative effects of consuming marijuana. However, there seems to be a lot more health benefits. Cannabis contains CBD, which is a chemical that impacts the brain, making it function better without giving you that high that THC does. Both substances can be extracted and used separately or together, depending on the need of the individual. Now, there are hundreds of chemical compounds in cannabis, many of which are cannabinoids. Cannabinoids have been linked to providing relief of chronic pain due to their chemical makeup. Cannabis is also linked to aiding your body in regulating insulin, which in turn can help regulate and prevent diabetes. Research conducted by the American Alliance for Medical Cannabis has linked cannabis to stabilize blood sugars, lower blood pressure, and improve blood circulation. Cannabis has also shown promise in promoting focus and helping individuals with ADHD or ADD. It is also considered a safer alternative to Adderall and Ritalin. Cannabis can also help reduce the pressure applied on the eyeballs, providing some temporary relief for those individuals that suffer from glaucoma. Also, cannabis's endocannabinoid contains anti-inflammatories that fight the brain inflammation that leads to Alzheimer's disease. So Alzheimer patients can benefit by consuming cannabis so that it can slow down the disease. Now, these are just a few of the many benefits that cannabis can provide for us humans. I believe that everyone should do their research on consuming marijuana to see if it's the right fit for them and their specific need. I believe that because of the different methods in which you can find cannabis, there are safe ways of consuming it other than smoking it and potentially causing damage to your lungs. Now, different methods will work for different people depending on their unique situation. People should look at both the negative and positive effects of cannabis that cannabis can have on the human body and decide if it really is something that they want to put into their body.